سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Yes, that's right, infidels. We're back. The table's on fire. The roof is on fire. Your back is on fire. Because it's time to light the fuse. AEW Dynamite Review, Hacker Hamin, channelattitude.com with the Chris Silvio. YOLO. Yo, what's good? Just waiting for my man Silvio. He's probably pulling up right now, taking care of business, letting the lovely Genocide know we're going on air, and I'm sure he'll be running in here just a minute or two. But I can kick this thing off solo on the dolo. I can handle a mic and the spotlight. That's no problem. I see the chat rooms filled up here as we keep it live at twitch.tv/Hamin Media and at Ben Hamin YouTube channel, giving away some free value. But thank you for subscribing to channelattitude.com. And now, as I just turned the corner, the main event is here. He has arrived. Glad to see him back. The man, Chris Silvio. How's it going, pal?
Yo, Popsy, Hamin. Good to see you, my friend. We're here. We're back on Light the Fuse. Looks like you got some Broasters over there in your mug.
Fresh brewed. It's almost done.
You know, I can almost smell it from here. It's got a hint of New York in it, a hint of Java.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we're rocking it. Crazy fucking show last night. There was some fire, some ice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been really pumped after watching that match to hear you break this one down.
Yeah, man. I was not down with this week's show, and it hurt me because I was so down with last week's show, even though we were on break and whatnot, and you were traveling and doing the in-laws thing too. They killed it with the MJF Punk segment from last week, so I kind of wanted to talk about that kicking off, and also a great amount of heel work from Daniel Bryan to like get over in a way a true pro knows how to get it over without having to, of who he's up against and where he's up against and how he has to work that way. So I thought last week's show, what was the main event last week? I forget already.
I can't remember.
So much wrestling. But that show worked for me. This week did not work at all, bro. I mean, the first 5 matches, put them on a sheet of paper and you don't even need to watch. You know who's going over and everything, and so just bad booking choices, but everyone's working hard. I'm not saying they're not. And then some funny but scary mishaps, and we'll cover it all. But I'm glad to be back with you, man. And I know Genocide's been working hard, and I thought the girls this week stole the show, in my opinion, dude. So
as they do oftentimes.
Yeah, and different sets of girls that are doing it. So we'll get to all that stuff here with some quick news. Anything else you want to catch us up on? I hope you had a great Thanksgiving with in-laws and friends.
Yeah, man, it was pretty nice. Lots of food, normal. Lots of naps, a little bit of foosball, a little bit of hash air hockey. But good times we're having now, man.
Nice. I just watched the what episode is it? Propane is on right now, and he did the shit waves monologue. I'm like, I don't know what's better. That episode is right up there. So is because everything goes away from they're gonna buy the park, they're gonna fucking marry Barb and all that, and his world's just collapsing around him, bro. Like it's so good. The Rizub and Tizug episode is real good too. When Randy eats the fucking Blue Jay burger, this whole season 4, I think is the strongest one. It's got Sam Squanch in it, and Steve French. This season 4 is probably, I think, the best season ever.
It might be, bro. And the Riz Up and Tug is also one of my favorite ones. And I think Corey and Trevor steal the show in that one when they're forced into the trailer and you just hear the voice off screen. I paid for a woman, not Corey and Trevor. I told you guys to clean the house. I come here, you're jerking off men.
I'll tell you what, Hank Hill's in the chat room. I appreciate you. I enjoyed your work, Mr. Hill. I think you and Mike Judge have got something there. Yeah, dude, but I'm glad to be back with you because we did take time off. We did have AEW Rampage up. Big shout out to the guys over there, Jargo and Enright and whoever else was filling in. But very cool to have the double coverage there, and you're always welcome to do that show. I don't know if you're up late enough. I think they record right after though. That's I'm devastated after SmackDown and that, bro. I'm dead. But you know, a couple quick notes. I mean, the bad news. I loved fucking last week's show. I was like, this is a good fucking show, kind of front to back, dude. Maybe one or two punch ups, but they didn't miss much last week. Then I watched Rampage, and they open with Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy. Well, it was a tag, though, right?
Last week or this week?
This past week. And, dude, they're pulling all kinds of time and doing the corny shit, bro. And I'm just like, what a miss. And then last week's Rampage number, which should have been sky high because everybody parties the night before Thanksgiving. Then it's Thanksgiving and Black Friday. You have a captive audience at home. They did 403,000. There's no excuse for that. And that's something massively wrong with the booking of when SmackDown ends with 1.9 million, you can only bring over 400,000 of those viewers. That's insane to me, bro. And that's the number one problem. And then to open up with a match with this guy supposed to be the man, but he's pulling 20 minutes with the cartoon character. Not that, like, the booking's wrong from one show to the next within 3 day span. You so have it, and then you so don't have it. That's a huge issue, bro.
Do you know what it is with Rampage? The issue is in the formatting of the program. I love the 1 hour of it. I love the 3 matches of it.
Yeah.
In between, we have some misses on how to execute that. I have an exact plan on how to make that into perfection, but that's not something I'm willing to share for free. You and I can talk off air about it.
Sure.
But basically, without giving away too much, there's so much you can do with an hour show and that 3-match format that all you have to do is book matches that people are interested in seeing and tell the story of each match as you lead up to it. That's the most I could give away for free. But the big thing is giving matches, especially main event matches, that people want to see. They're kind of using Saturday Night's main events model in a way where it's a shorter card, and they usually open the show with the bigger match. So if you could recall watching Saturday Night's main event in the 80s, Hogan would usually go on first. You'd have Hogan and Honky Tonk, right, for the title. And then the main event would be something like the Hart Foundation versus Strike Force or something like that.
Right.
So they kind of do something similar, but it doesn't always work out the way we want it to.
Yeah, not the way they are, because they're crossing the lines of mid-card, upper main event guys and lower guys. And every one of those, you can have those tiers, but don't crisscross them just to have the matches of everybody on the same level. Your lower card guys can have their own story, and as well as your upper main event around the belt. Like, and eventually they might interweave, but the way we're doing it now is just, it's a losing formula. At 400,000, I'll give you my scenario. Give me the show. I'm going to tell you the 22 people I want to be my regulars. You give me 6 floating talent that can go back and forth in between, and I'm going to make these guys. That's my only thing, is to start making characters real heels, real baby faces. None of this, and no more 10 to 16 minute matches. There's going to be a 2-minute match where it's real, and if she's going to run in later, I'll put it over again. But I got hot this week because Genocide, not that she was right. I love saying that she was right. But when Wardlow did those 4 power bombs, she was spot on. And I just wasn't paying attention the week before. And if he's supposed to be a heel in the segment before, cutting out the baby face, then he comes out to wrestle the next segment, that exact next segment after commercial, and hits the guy with 4 power bombs as the crowd's cheering him on to do it. That nobody knows what they're doing, bro. Like, it's a bad lesson every time in that, but they don't learn. they did it 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row, really.
Unless they're gearing towards the inevitable Wardlow turn that we've been expecting.
That's fine, but
sure,
you don't
if they want them. So I don't know if you remember the Shawn Michaels Diesel build when they were flipping Diesel from Shawn's bodyguard. Diesel started getting reactions, and they started doing similar things to this. I see some consistencies there. So, I mean, if they're going to pull the plug on Wardlow, cool. Let him powerbomb the shit out of people and let them come. If he is going to be a heel, maybe consider something different. But the one thing I'm happy about is the fucking powerbomb, albeit it was 4, is a million times better than that stupid knee finish that they let him do. Wardlow's so impressive. That knee, he needs to stay far away from that. Let a cruiserweight do that.
He looked awesome last night, bro.
Yeah, like a monster, right?
Yeah, dude. But yeah, they're just they have it right there in their hand, and then they just they don't know how to capitalize on it. You know what I mean? And I don't understand that.
I was half expecting, to be honest. You mentioned the previous segment. I was half expecting during the MJF Punk confrontation that we'll cover, when Wardlow comes out to bust it up, I was half expecting Wardlow to sidestep.
That would have been a good choice. I don't know why Punk wouldn't pitch that, especially if they're going to do something babyface right after. You know what I mean? Like even Wardlow sidestep and walks down to go to his match.
Yep.
And that's the thing, and he has to beg off in his Jewish pajamas.
In his Larry David.
Yeah. Let's see. Quick news and notes here. Tony Khan comments about Jim Ross's AEW commentary hiatus. He spoke to Busted Open. He said Jim just doesn't want to sit back and get these treatments and step away from wrestling. He's still very much involved, even though he's not going to be calling the show. That's another thing for fans who are new to AEW, even though they won't be in the booth tonight. One thing that made people feel comfortable, made them feel at home watching wrestling, is the voice of Jim Ross and the voice of Tony Schiavone out there. We're all going to miss Jim for the next several weeks very much, but I agree with you guys so much. He adds so much to the matches he calls and the shows that he calls. JR, I think, is the greatest voice in wrestling. A very nice sentiment. Very professional. I like that, TK. And we wish Jim the best, too. He's been showing pictures of his treatments and all that, and anybody who's got somebody in their family going through it, especially at holiday time like this, Hamin Media Group, no matter what we believe in and in our own individual lives, we wish you the best. And we know that stuff is far more important than the day-to-day little dumbass beefs we get in over headlines. So Jim Ross, thinking the guy's been through plenty already in his life. So hopefully this goes pretty quick without a hitch. And I think December 29th, he might be scheduled to be back. So hope he's feeling well.
And you got to say too, man, like fucking bless his Oklahoma heart, as we say here in the South. December 29th or 22nd, whatever the date was, is not that far away. It's December 2nd. Yeah. Brother is in his 60s, and he's about to have 22 radiation treatments in this short span of time. And I was already talking about, I plan to be at work later in the month. That's a badass motherfucker right there. Number one.
That's
number
Oklahoma
two,
right there. Not about
number two, that's somebody that loves the hell out of professional wrestling and his craft. The same way you and I do, how you get up every day and you got to complain about watching 20 hours of footage, see some of the best and worst things you've ever seen, but your happy ass is still up. It's not always happy, but your happy ass is still up here, commentary, giving the fans something to listen to, brightening people's day. That's what we do, man. That's part of the gig. So props to Jim Ross for his dedication, being the fucking best. And like you said, man, wish him well. That dude's a fucking legend. And just incredible gem for our sport.
Yeah, everybody's grandfather, man. That's just how it is. On the flip side of that, last night, production woes continue, whether it's WWE, but this time AEW. The Fight TV feed cut out during the main event and went to green screen. So anybody watching on Fight, I think they missed the finish, and then it came back to after. But
who watches on Fight? Is that like Ireland and UK?
I'm not sure. It could be.
I don't think you could see it in America on Fight.
Really? You don't think so? I don't know. I mean, I know my brother's new TV. It pulls from the apps. It's got the Roku thing, but whatever you're tied into, it pulls it and puts it into a whole menu unto itself. It's pretty incredible. So I don't know what people are watching on. I imagine if you had it on that, it might pull from that no matter where on the planet at this point. So
do you remember those hookup cable boxes back in the day?
Oh yeah.
When you had the brother connection and somebody would come and put in the box where you get all the movie channels and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Does your brother have like a modern kayfabe version of that?
Well, it's not a broken Fire Stick. It's just the TV. The brand is ONN, and the Roku thing is like the built-in app. And once they log in, it can pull from whatever you got. You got the ESPN app, you got Hulu, and it'll put it right into a fucking menu, bro, from your connected devices. It's pretty crazy, dude. Like really nice little piece of code and user interface. Plus all the shit that like a jailbroke Roku comes with like, all the podcast channels and shit like that or whatever it is, So there are a lot of content creators, individuals like us, like we're working on the Amber Neal show with A-Star Network and Stevie Ray TV. That stuff can be found right on there. So a lot of content creators are going to be right in the feed against major networks. I love that. That's a level playing field. I think that's excellent.
And I get to spend quite a bit of time with one of the members of the A show recently, Aaron the Idol Stevens.
Nice.
Over in LA. Really great catching up with him. Dude, so crazy creative. Like, I hope a lot of people that listen to us listen to his show as well. Hamin and I are both very creative when it comes to pro wrestling. We're on different spectrums of the creativity, but nonetheless equally creative.
Sure.
Aaron's the same way, man. I was helping him out at Hollywood and Primetime Live, and it's just always fun seeing the similarities that like our group and generation of people we come up with have, but some of the differences and ideas that when we put these together, it's like you're holding lightning in a bottle. Just a small tweak to something, like you always say, a punch up, and now something's way better than you even thought it could be just from something small somebody else added. That's part of Aaron's genius.
Oh, absolutely, man. And he's got a great, ability to like really increase a little drama or laughter in a scene by changing the timing just a little bit, just a nudge. And it makes all the difference in the world. I love watching him paint with his brushes. He's great, man, for sure. Let's see here. I think that's it for about news. Let's get to the show.
I got a couple news stories I want to cover with you. First one, evidently Big Swole has parted ways with AEW. And this is something that we've talked about, that initial first wave of all those talents, the independent talents that were picked up. We've been talking about what's going to happen as these contracts come up. There's still some rumor and speculation as to whether or not Cody and Omega have re-signed. I'm sure that they've worked out something or intend to. I can't imagine Tony wanting to let either of them go, but we're going to see. It's going to be very interesting now to see, do they keep a lot of the people that the show started with? Do they keep Janela? Do they keep Sonny Kiss? Do they keep the Bear Countries, the Marco Stunts? A lot of the talent that's been featured more frequently on Dark than on television.
Keep going. I mean, we're guys like, what's the guy with the porn stash? Nice guy. He's from California.
Peter Avalon. Yeah, very nice guy.
Contract? Yeah, very cool guy. I'm not trying to shit on him. Was he under contract, or is he a pay-per-performance basis? Because you gotta see, dude, when you bring in a Braun, a Bray, you already brought in Aleister Black, Rusev. You're not even using them like that. These are problems.
And we just added Punk and Bryan,
and they're not being used right. Plus, you got Hangman. Plus, you got the entire Dark Order. Right. You could keep Colt. And get rid of the rest of those guys. Like, it's not that nothing against them. I'm not saying nothing against them, but there's no TV time. If they want to be on Dark Elevation, then so be it. But that you just can't. If you're gonna want the high level players, if you want an all-star dream team, then these guys got to go. They were good to get the machine moving. Sure. And you just upped all their indie rates by 200-300%. But with the flood of the market the way it is between ROH and all that, when you can march out, if you like a bottom of the barrel guy, and I'm not saying he is this by any means, but like a dude that they could get at a cheap price. I'm going to retract all this. I didn't mean to say any of this. It all came out badly.
Just use a generalization.
Yeah, a guy I have a ton of respect for who could get over easily with that crowd, coming from ROH, is Dalton Castle.
Oh, fuck yeah. Love Dalton.
Right. And one Dalton Castle, I'm not trying to say this about it, disparaging about these other guys, is equal to the whole Dark Order, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Of like what the value is business wise and entertainment wise and segment wise. Now, if you clipped all the Dark Order guys, you could probably get Dalton for half of what it costs to pay for all the Dark Order guys, is the business that I'm trying to put forward. I'm not trying to put value on anybody. I'm just looking at it from a booker's point of view and freeing up my TV time, as opposed to having all these guys backstage every week, just kind of, peppering around. We gotta make this thing go forward. It can't be a buddy system, unfortunately. So that's where he's going to be caught at. And where does a Bear Country, I hate to name names, but this is what we do in the Cullings. Like, there's so many talents we're not even thinking of that are, if they're like at a Peter Avalon level, that are under contract, that are not going to get renewed. And I like the way Big Swole put it, of like, we came to the agreement that I'm not going to renew. She went there like, I just not feeling it. I'm going to go someplace else. And maybe that's it. But the reality is this is the first wave is coming. You know what I mean? So,
and to make it clear, we are not besmirching any of the talents. We're strictly basing this off of television time they are getting.
Right.
If you don't have enough TV time to get an extra 30 people on, then it's not a wise business investment to keep paying these 30 people. So what I think needs to happen right now, Hamin, and I'm sure you could probably agree to this, is now is the time where people have to really step up and show that they're earning and keeping their spot. Like, let's take Janela, for example. Janela's done so many smart and creative things around the indies with GCW and everything. So somebody like him, who hasn't been incredibly utilized in AEW over the last year and a half, this would be the time for somebody like him to say, okay, what the fuck do I got to do now to compete with Omega and this person and Cody and Brian, and really figure out a package and way to present himself that is going to set him apart from everyone else. Make sure his fucking physique is on point, his wrestling's on point, and go out and deliver big every week. Like some of these people that have been fighting for that TV time, I think that's at the point that most of those men and women are in now. Like, if you want to keep this shit, show up, bust your ass, and fucking, make them not be able to deny you your spot. And I think those that don't do that, we'll probably see them on their way here pretty soon.
Yeah, dude. I mean, what is a private party supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, there's just super talented guys, but dude, you just can't.
I'll answer that. Go to training several times a week, get your fundamentals way better, get new gear, get to the gym, bust your fucking asses, come out to the ring with a chip on your shoulder. They already can do every amazing move in the history of wrestling. Imagine if they did that with good builds, solid fundamentals, and confidence to them.
But you also got to have the spot and the know-how to how to get yourself over and the guy working.
That is true.
And will that be able to happen when you're under? You got to go out there and have a banger. You're right, with an FTR, with a Young Bucks, with you know what I mean. And you have to build a tag division, and that would be. I'm giving this away. If I was running the show, that's what I wouldn't want the world champ on my show. You make the Sammy Guevara title or the TV title. He defends it on Wednesday and he defends it on Friday once in a while. But the tag titles is the feature on that show. And then you have your undercard and a girls match. I mean, that's just it. It's that easy to book it, but you got to tell the right stories throughout, man.
Yep. And one last piece of news. I don't know if you caught this one. AEW recently put out a mental health awareness video that I found pretty interesting, where several superstars, ones that come to mind, Ryan Nemeth was on it, Dax Harwood, Amanda Huber, Will Hobbs, Vicky, Blade, Pepper Parks. Basically, they shared some of their mental health struggles they've had and, kind of let people know, look, hey, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Get the help when you need it. Doesn't make you any less manly or any less tough or womanly, whatever. Makes you a human being where if you're struggling, sometimes you got to ask for help. So I thought it was a nice touch with the video. I'm glad they did that. because that's something I wanted to address as well. I'll be doing a podcast up here soon on that topic. But just to touch on it a little bit today, I was speaking with a young wrestler very recently who has some mental health issues that, some might consider severe. And he was asking me, do you think I can make it in wrestling with these issues? Good athlete, young person's got a big future ahead of him. And I said, yeah, of course you do. As long as you stay ahead of it, get help when you need it, live healthy. I just let him know how many wrestlers he's not aware of that struggle from the same things, whether it's depression or anxiety, suicidal ideations, bipolar. There's so many conditions that so many wrestlers suffer from, but we generally don't hear about it. So people that think that you're alone, like you're going through this and you're going to be embarrassed if other people find out, trust me, you're not alone. Probably half the locker room in there with you has some kind of issue that they're battling with, especially in a sport like pro wrestling that's so much based on looks and performance and how good you are and how much money you make. It can fuck you up and it's nerve-wracking. So yeah, anybody out there that thinks they're alone, whether in wrestling or anything else, you are not. Guarantee if there's 5 people in the room with you, 2 or 3 of them are going through something similar to you. So just always remember that. And like they said in the video, if you need help, don't be afraid to reach out for it. I've reached out for help, and I think it's one of the best decisions I've made. If you ever feel like stuff is becoming too much for you, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. Don't be afraid to call that bad boy if you really need it, or just ask for some help, because we all want you guys to be well and stick around, love wrestling, and listen to this bullshit podcast every week.
Yeah, a lot of good messages all the way around. Thank you, Sil, for that. I will choose to not come over the top with any negativity on that.
There we go. Good.
Fire. Yeah, man. That's all good, dude. Let's kick it off here. And again, is this the right move to fire your big bullets at the top of the show? Last week, I'd say, yeah, that worked out well because you were firing at big targets. This week, we have top guys being wasted, and I'm not trying to say that the guys are wrestling are shitty dudes or anything like that, but you don't go book back-to-back singles matches with your 2 top guys against your who's that? Guys who are not over at all, and you don't know. And then these guys are pulling time with former world champions here, bro. The world champs are selling for their stuff, and I'm just like, this makes wrestling so phony, so ridiculous that we have Bryan Daniels versus Alan Five Angels in his hometown. So not a bad choice there to get the pop when Bryan's going over as the heel, and you know it, right? But this like choice to have him in there, if you're to put this on a piece of paper, who's going over. And if somebody really isn't into like work rate and watching matches like that, they're turning the channel, man.
And that's why we always say on this show, throw in some upsets from time to time. Yeah. Then these matches, people are going to stick around.
We had a chance for one later, and put a pin in that because I want to come back to that thought later for upsets.
Always. For this match, though, man, I actually kind of liked it. I'll agree with you in the fact that Alan Angels is not an upper tier talent because he's not been booked that way. He's booked lower on the card. He's one of the members of the Dark Order. He's not heavily featured as a singles guy. So the audience is only going to care but so much about him. I thought Bryan actually worked very smart with him. He and Omega had good matches, but some of the critiques they've gotten and some things that sat with me a little weird about that was Omega was working more like Ric Flair against Alan Angels, where Omega was working more heel-like, powdering, taking complex shine spots and bumping feet and shit like that. Right. We didn't see that from Bryan. Bryan kept a very nasty physical style, and Bryan and Angels are a little closer in size. So I thought it was smart, similar to how I always put Miro over. When he gives smaller guys stuff, he does it in an intelligent way. I thought Brian did the same thing. So instead of just feeding up for all of Angel's stuff, he got there good, where he was throwing 6 strikes and he would miss something. Angels would catch him slipping. Brian powdered out, turn around, there's the dive. It was stuff like that, as opposed to Angels out wrestling him, which we know he cannot out wrestle the American Dragon.
Right.
So I agree with you in the sense that we knew who was going to win. That's why we need more upsets. But I thought Brian worked the match very well. Angels did his part, and I was really impressed with Brian's performance last night in that match.
I liked it too. It was just the fact of, here it is on the paper. Like, if I looked away and had a conversation, you didn't miss nothing, you know. Story wise, I would have liked to seen a little different story. I do like how vicious Brian is, but I would have liked to seen him catching a bunch of things on him and then being like, nah, not yet. I'm going to tune you up a little bit more. And then getting the fear in Frankie Five Fingers' face. And he's like, starts to get something. He's got to wiggle out with obsessed legs or something. You know what I mean? To get him off. And he powders out. And Brian's like, come on, let's go. So he's got to keep getting in there and almost getting shot on. I think that would have worked a little better in my opinion. That. But this was good.
What else I liked? Tell me what you thought. I liked that Brian finished this one with the heel hook.
Yeah.
He did his nasty series of kicks to the face. We thought he was going for his label lock or one of the, I think he uses a triangle choke sometimes too. But I like the fact that he switched it up and went to the heel hook. He's like, I could beat a motherfucker 10 different ways from Sunday.
And that's why he could have caught him two times before that. At once let him go. And the other one, the kid squirms his way out with fear. Third one cuts him off I would have cut him off with kicking the ropes when he came back in, hit him with something. Kid scrambles, duck one, catch him again, and get him right there. Sure. You know what I mean? You're just kind of playing with your food like a lion. You know what I mean? It's like it's a wounded rabbit.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
The 50-50 I'm not down with, but obviously DB American Dragon's up. Danielson gives an interview after the show. This is the other put a pin in it, but he says he thinks he snapped his MCL, the kid's MCL. And I goes, I was wondering, did he really? Did they take it home early? Did he really hurt him? I don't know, you know, because last week he did kick Colt Cabana in the face. I really liked his match against Colt, man. Last week, that was really, really good too. And he picks up his.
I just wish he would have given Cabana a little bit more, especially in his hometown. And that goes back to some of the booking that's hurt the Dark Order and Cabana. Bro, 3 years ago, if they would have done Daniel Bryan versus Colt Cabana in Chicago, that place would have been fucking going banana.
Yeah.
You know, but
they didn't tell they tried to tell the Wrestle Diaries thing. They could have told that whole story the whole way through. I think they didn't get nearly the mileage out of it that they should have. I agree with all that.
Give us a 90-second vignette. Tell the story there, you know.
Here's the other thing we got during that match. We had Hangman Page on commentary the whole time. I think this is another. I don't know if this is the right choice. You know what I mean? We went from him, and then we went to Adam Cole, and then we went to Taz, and like, you're kind of fucking up the flow of the show. I get we got to fill JR's seat, but Adam Cole's the champ, and he's got business. Don't march him out there to overexpose him right there just to do a fill-in job for JR. He's the champ. There's bigger stakes on him. That lowers him in the stakes of the show to come out and do that, in my opinion.
Yeah, this was the night of 1,000 commentators. I did notice that, and it didn't sit right with me. I think I know what they were trying to do. If you ever watch like the old World Championship Wrestlings, like the TBS NWA shows, Mid-Atlantic, Jim Crockett, they would do a lot of segments at the desk, at the podium, with Shivani interview. Flair would come out, Dusty would interrupt. I think they were trying to get that across, but via the announce desk, it just came off a little bit of same, because we had 3 matches in a row. The first one you discussed, then the Punk match next had a commentator. Then after that, Adam Cole comes out to the desk. And then after that, Leo Rush out to the desk.
Right.
So it was just too much same. They could have split it up, done some backstage shit, done an interview in the ramp with Shivani. You know, maybe Shivani was interviewing Leo Rush at the ramp, Nitro style. And then Taz walked his happy ass up from the desk and says, brother, Hook's going to knock you out. You know, whatever.
Big Hook's on the way.
Are they going to keep Hook?
Yeah, I do. I think there's value in Hook, dude. People rib, but I think I
What's
like
the
that.
value in Hook?
You just got to use him the right way as the fucking underling stooge and the guy who gets caught. You know what I mean? Or the guy you didn't see coming who has the weapon at the right time. He could be like how Jason was in ECW.
We're on the same page. I want him to be funny. I want him to be bumbling.
Yeah. There's times when he can get over and there's times when he can show ass. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Depending on the situation he gets caught in.
Yeah, like he should constantly be looking for his dad's approval. He's always fucking it up. Like Taz smacks him in the back of the head. You know, how fucking great
young dynamic. Like hothead, like the kid, I love him, but he's fucking he gets too hot.
He's AJ Soprano.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's pissed at Dante Martin because he's the new kid now. You know, so much gold you can do.
All that, dude. And that's
cool
what
if we were backstage there.
That's the lower level storylines I would do if I was running Rampage. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Even on the lower tier, obviously Hook ain't fighting for the fucking world title, but that story is interesting. That relationship and game being played out week after week after week is very so when we get to the pay-per-view and something has to happen and Hook lights something on fire by accident doing an arson in the fucking thing, and then up goes somebody's robe, Cody's robe. Now we got those worlds crossing, right? Like, well, you got to build all that fucking details got to be in there in conditioning. But the other put a pin in it. Daniel Bryan almost pulls the Arn and fucking he's like there, dude. The stage comes out and then the ramp comes down at a perfect degree angle. There's a big section where someone is going to bust their ass. I said this on fucking when this match is on there. We get to fucking Cody and Arn later, and Arn fucking takes a bump and falls, dude.
So, I didn't know what happened to Arn. Like I looked and all of a sudden he was gone. And I just heard one of the commentators say he fell.
Dude, he gives Cody a hug, takes a step backwards while the heels are running up. He falls backwards straight on his ass, and then like I think he hit his head on the monitor, but felt like on the pyro thing. The manager of the other dudes gets up there who he's supposed to get into it with. You see him giving Arn a hand up off the thing, and then they cut away. Then the next shot is they're standing up, fucking duking it out there. But old man fell like help, I've fallen and I can't get up off the fucking edge. But Daniel Bryan almost did too. He was like an inch away from fucking going. So they got to build some fucking side triangles to put in there to make it more of a funnel instead of having a hard edge right there, dude. It popped me.
It popped me too. And Bryan reminded me of myself. Us technical wrestlers are very cognizant of the way our body moves and our opponents, and we know our surroundings. So I'm never going to be a guy that bumps into the rope, that falls off of shit. So when I was watching that, I know how Bryan's mind's wired because mine's the same way. He saw that threat and in an instant was able to cut course and step so he didn't fall. That's what the ring technicians do. If you're not used to that spatial awareness, bada bing, bada boom, you're going.
What would have been awesome is when Arn fell, the gun went off and he shot himself like Ricky in the foot. That would have been fun.
Well, Jose took a cap, they got slugged.
But ricochets off and hits Excalibur in the shin. Motherfucker.
Was like, it's an implanadora.
Rugera. Hangman tries to come to the ring, but John Silver stops him, hits the ring, and said, however, Danielson bails. Says Silver's beneath him, just like Page. Danielson goats Page, but says he would love to slap him in the face. $5, please. However, he claims the fans don't deserve to see it. Bryan walks to the back. So this is the first in a bad booking decision. No, I'm not coming to fight you, because we do it in the very next segment, the exact same trick. I was like, come on, B. Come on. Unless we're switching segments and it was supposed to be at the end, but I don't think so. This was a all right choice here, but when they do it 10 minutes later, that makes them both wrong, double negative. Then we get my man Lee Moriarty. Yeah, Lee Moriarty. CM Punk, you might have heard of him. Before the match, MJF makes his way out, joins commentary for the match. So commentary team number 2. Says he's nervous, or Punk claims he's been in binge drinking since his match with QT Marshall. He also adds that CM stands for cooking meth. Love it, dude. Popped huge. He also announces the Diamond Ring Battle Royal for next week. The encounter gets underway. Dude, Lee Moriarty works an armbar on Punk. He keeps Punk grounded. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Didn't you just train MMA for 4 years straight? Mainly Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the ground. Did we see any of it?
Lee did? I wasn't aware of that.
Punk did. You remember he was in UFC for a little bit there? We didn't see any of it. Lee Moriarty's got him in the basic Nightmare Factory special armbar, and Punk's face down on the mat, bro.
All right. You've been around pro wrestling a while now. Why did Punk make those choices?
Because I got to make this guy and make it look like a fight, because we got to go 10 to 12 minutes instead, which if really he's that big of a superstar, he should go, all right, you want to give this kid the shine and be in there with me? Then that means I got to get interrupted by MJF to be distracted so Lee Moriarty can get up on me in a way that MJF has the heat on it. I have to come back in to keep beating the count. Not this, Sil. Not you put me in armbar 101 chain wrestling and I stay down. This story was driving me nuts in the ring, bro.
What Punk was doing, and I know this from experience, he was in there with a younger, far less experienced performer that he probably didn't know and probably never touched.
The question is, why is this even happening right now, dude?
That I can't answer why that particular match was booked, but I understand why Punk did what he did, and I may have made similar decisions because you want to keep it, you want to teach them while you're in there, but you also want to keep it pretty basic so there's not as much room for error. Then later on, let them get their flashier shit in. So I can't say I was a huge fan of that early pacing, but as it evolved, the match got a lot better and I got a lot more interested.
This should have been, if we needed to fucking do something with Punk and MJF, they're both double booked on commentary at the ends, and they just shoot back and forth while it's Lee Moriarty versus fucking Dante Martin in a get-over match. You don't book Lee Moriarty versus CM Punk. You don't book Frankie Five Fingers versus fucking Daniel Bryan. You are wasting and lowering both of these fucking huge properties' stock price by even having them in the ring with guys. And gotta love them, these guys are on TV. So shout out to Frankie Five Angels and Lee Moriarty. But dude, that's not your spot. That's not the right business to help let either of those guys get over. If the red hot thing was the shoot last week between Punk and Gimmick, and you want fucking get all these jokes in back and forth, then the verbal battle continues. The opportunity is JR's seat being gone, and Punk can go, hey, I know he can't fill JR's seat. Maybe two of us can try, but and get over on the baby face side of it. You're not going to let him do that kind of shit and put it on him, dude. Like, they missed. This whole segment was an absolute miss, in my opinion.
I can't say I would have booked Lee versus Punk, but I do have a difference of opinion with you on this. Like, when I was in OVW and was one of the main singles guys, I would love when I would see a young athletic talent coming through, especially at a place like OVW where so many people work a similar style. So when I'd see some of these kids like coming out of Capitelli's class that were athletic, that I saw could do some cool shit, that wanted to learn, I would hand pick them, like whether I was TV champ or fucking the heavyweight, whatever it was, I would pick. I'd say, okay, that kid, Robbie Walker, he's been here a year. He's athletic as fuck. He's got a good look. He can do some shit. Give me 12 minutes with him on TV. And I'd get in there with him. I'd walk him through what it feels like to have a main event match. I'd let him get some impressive shit in. Then I'd beat him strong, and every once in a while, if somebody had really good potential that I saw coming, I'd do a count out or something so we could lead to a second match where they get a little closer, but I beat them strong, and it tells that story of them getting better. So I'm okay with those scenarios in theory. You just can't do it all the time, and I think you got to be careful with it. You see the logic on that?
I do. But to me, this is, in OVW terms, this is CM Punk versus Dre Blitz, and Danny would keep that for dark as a big reward for Dre Blitz's build or something, or to rib Punk and not put it on TV. You know what I mean? This is dark material right here. So it's just like, it just didn't do the biz. And until we get to the end with the promos again, where MJF gets over on him and calls him one pump chump.
And the Britt Baker line, I think he was trying to do the Sunny Days thing with that.
Yeah, dude, is Punk trying to fucking put over Britt Baker? Are they talking shit? That was pretty interesting that way. Because then Adam Cole comes on the next segment and has to fucking swallow that pill. You know what I mean?
He didn't even address it.
No, he didn't. He puts heat on Shivani, like Shivani's trying to bang. Like, dude, DMD's got it out here in the wind. Everybody's trying to take a sniff. What the fuck's going on? I think she should end up with Nyla Rose. That would actually pop me the most.
Remember the idea you had about Miro, like where Lana's like withholding the sex from him and everything?
Dude, I know that should be a fucking. Shouldn't he be raging because he's not getting laid? Like, you walk in and like Tony should just go buy a bunch of old shitty lockers from a high school and crush them all in with a sledgehammer. Like that Miro ripped him off the wall because he's so horny and nobody can go in there, you know. Just like a fucking deer in November, the neck swelled up and shit. Like, he's fucking crazy.
That would be a hilarious angle to take the Adam Cole Britt thing, where like everyone's trying to bang Britt and Cole's just losing his mind.
Yeah, dude, he's like losing it. Nothing he can do about it, dude. If you got arms how about this? This is the highlight of the night for me. Not that I have fucking huge arms, but I'm a heavyweight. And at the end of Daniel Bryan's match, and he's looking good, whether he's on Florida Water or working hard, he pumps it up. Still a little guy with arms at the end of the day. Then Punk hits the Hogan. Okay, yeah, sure. All right, bro. Then fucking Adam Cole comes out sleeveless with the littlest arms. I'm like, dude, is there some Napoleon complex shit going on in here tonight or what? Everybody wants to be a body guy, but nobody's got the DNA to pull it off, man. So it was making me laugh of like all the guys with no arms are trying to do the fucking double barrel look at me last night, man.
Brian looks great. You leave him alone.
Yeah, he does. Obviously for his size, but at the end of the day.
Punk looks like Adam Cole looks like Tom Cruise to me.
Oh, absolutely. He's got every bit of Tom. Like if you were to say who's probably the closest in history to like a Tom Cruise leading man, Sean during his prime, but yeah, definitely Adam Cole's in that conversation.
And I mean like with the build too, you know, because like we've never seen Cruise like jacked in a roll. Like we've seen him lean and in shape.
Yeah.
Cole's very Tom Cruise.
He also doesn't come out in his movies premiere and try and show his fucking shit off either, bro. Slap a quad out. hit
How
the
cool
rock.
would that be if he did though? Like for his next one, and he's throwing in some Scientology barbs and shit and posing.
Dude, Scientology, Britt Baker and Adam Cole. Like, what if all of them are sniffing around and that's their thing to keep their relationship together? They both go to Scientology. Wow, that would be way above their pay grade to write it, but I would love to do that, dude. That would be phenomenal.
They'd kill it too. Fucking, you know, Cole and Britt are both aces with promos. They'd fucking kill it.
Kill that, bro. They would kill it, dude. The Church of Scientology, they'd actually have to join. They'd never let you get ribbed like that. They'd sue the fuck out of you.
They'd be mad.
But fuck them and fuck Xenu too.
Oh, we did get a cool Miro VTR.
Yeah, he was. Let me see what that
looked like. He was losing it. Was what I got from it.
Yeah, but we could have turned the amp. We could have amped that way up, bro. Like just saying and questioning stuff and being in that is one thing. We need action. Show don't tell. We've had tell with funny things, and now that game's played out. We need to see it, how it affects you. If you're really affected by it, then let me see your day-to-day tasks and how difficult they become and what the triggers are where you're gonna fucking snap, you know. Like we need to find ways to poke holes in that and really get let some of his air out, because that's what you want to see, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is interesting. So the format, we went from the Punk match with Lee, where at the end MJF said the line about sniffing around Britt Baker, right?
Yeah.
Immediately following that, we had the backstage promo with Britt Baker, where she's addressing that there was a little conflict between her and Jamie, but they smoothed it out over the holidays. Jamie's going to soften up Rio for Britt Baker, right? But Britt didn't address the CM Punk line. The following segment is when we have Adam Cole out at the desk. not addressing the CM Punk Britt Baker.
Right. Didn't put it over, which to me is MJF stirring the shit because Punk didn't sell for either. Because, dude, I'm a married guy. What are you trying to get me fucking heat at home? Like all that kind of shit. So MJF just opened the door, rolled a grenade in there, closed it, and everybody else gets to take the shrapnel. Now Cole and her get to go home and be like, what the fuck is that about? And Punk's got to go home, answer to the wife. Meanwhile, there's something really going on with DMD and Phil, and they just got broken on kayfabe. I don't know, dude. Like all that's in there, and we didn't need any of this relationship heat. Right. We didn't need any of that shit. So, really, MJF just went up and whacked the hornet's nest. We'll see who gets stung by the killer bee sting you. You know what I mean? Interesting. But dude, you want to talk about sniffing around? The Hamin Media Group is red hot for Reba, baby. Yeah, I mean, she's looking good, working hard, and you better take it easy. That's my man's lady right there. So
watch the Reba comments.
Yeah, watch it. Keep it safe, guys. But dude, hey, all these girls are supposed to be half sex kitten and easy on the eye, and they are. And they all are their own individual. And Reba got over. I had John Hartnett on this morning with me for the Friday locker room. How's she get over? Character. She's not in there doing moves. She's right place, right time, wrong place, wrong time, and isn't afraid to show ass. Meanwhile, she does hair and makeup, is a former Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. So she's got all the entertainment experience. You've seen her on Impact. So she knows, hey, I'm on TV. I'll take one bump and have it mean something as opposed to taking 30 and exposing myself for this and that. And while she's doing it, she's getting into great shape. And she's, probably one of the top 3 hottest chicks in wrestling, as my audience would attest the other night, and left me a nice little sweet remark on losing grace. So, but the thing is, what people don't know, she's a huge nerd.
Oh yeah.
And funny. So like I like that shit even more that we get to see a little bit of that, because no other girl on that show except for maybe Vicky Guerrero is willing to show ass and look a certain way. You know what I mean?
You remember they stopped doing it for whatever reason. Do you remember when Britt was doing like that Oprah style talk show for a few weeks? I think it was mostly on Dark.
Yeah.
And Reba was like her Ed McMahon. Fucking Rebels stole the scene every single time by doing almost nothing, by like being behind Britt's hand when Britt was doing like an arm exaggeration.
Yes.
She would try to sneak her head in camera and do this annoying laugh when Britt made a joke, like kind of laugh. Like she just fucking stole the show every time. Simple.
And that's just yes-anding in the scene. But big shout out to Rebel and those girls got money written on them. I like the dynamic, all 3 of them.
So what do you think of this weird Adam Cole segment? So we had the 2 matches before with commentators.
Timeout. The stupidest thing on the show, without a doubt, is to come out and I heard Conan talk about this too, so I'll throw him under the bus with me. Dude, the guy's supposed to be a monster heel, right? With the Bucks and all them. He comes down, hits the ring, so like a Mark can do the boom, and the crowd can all do that along with him. That's a huge babyface thing, not heel at all. Then you think, all right, he's going to have a match. Nope. Gets out of the ring, walks up the ramp to go sit down on commentary. So you were just a mark for yourself in your entrance in order to do that. That's some not superstar shit right there, in my opinion, bro. Like the fact that you got to wait for it just to do this, as opposed to being over, like come out and hit the fucking ramp, look whatever, and be like, nah, like you ain't getting it. We're not taking anything away. We're giving the audience everything, which is what the baby face does. So either he's going to be the most over baby, but then he acts heel. It just doesn't work fully. You got to be on one side of the fence or the other, man. Like it just is very frustrating to me to watch, because there's so much money there, but we're making the wrong commitments. We do one thing, great. Okay, he's over. Boom, he's a baby. But now to switch that, it just doesn't work in the same segment.
So you would have had him maybe do the boom at the ramp and pretended like he was going to get in the ring, and then, yeah, right, you ain't getting all that.
I don't even think he needs to. Like they do this shit, the boom. Like, okay, that's when he has his whatever, his matches and shit. And even so, just let him come out and be the superstar that he needs to be, look and whatever. And I don't need a big boom fucking classic spot every time, man. If he's got business, let's get to the business instead of walking down there and then walking back. It was the biggest mark out thing I'd seen in a while. Dude.
I'd have had him stand on top of the desk and do it. Like
That's fine.
Us small guys can do shit like that.
Yeah.
But what was
doing it? Is it too baby face?
I would agree with you that technically, yes, but it's his act that everyone likes to do and reacts to. So I get it. It's one of those weird parallels. Rip Rogers told us never punch someone in the face, shoot him off the ropes, and have him reverse you. Shawn Michaels' comeback was punch someone in the face, shoot him off the ropes, get reverse forearm. Shawn Michaels is probably the best or one of the best wrestlers to ever live. So sometimes there is a variable to tradition.
But you know why the difference. I mean, just because Shawn breaks it and he's over doesn't make it right. If you punch a guy in the face, he should not be able to fucking shoot reverse you after that. He should be rocked and on the cell. So sure. the punch is the mistake. Wrestle, go back, shoot off the ropes and reverse is wrestling. Then you can come back with the strike after that. So just because Shawn did it and he was over and made millions doesn't make the psychology right. Like
no, but it worked for Shawn. So what I'm saying is this thing in a way works for Adam Cole. I agree with you that if he's going to be a heel, commit to it and be a heel. Don't be one or the other. But that thing is part of his act, kind of like when Scott Hall would say, survey time, you come to see WCW or NWO. Yeah. They're the hottest heels in the company, but that was the act. The crowd wanted to, it is what it is. It's one of those murky areas of wrestling, bro.
I accept that. I accept that.
What I thought stranger was Orange Cassidy coming out next, and we didn't know why.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. And especially after, they fought on Rampage and the match was atrocious. It totally buried Adam Cole as a legit fighter where they're trying to do all the Orange's spots and instead of having him beat him quickly. You know what I mean? It just lowers the stock price. So then Bucks come out. Orange does the little shin music on him, and Cole gets up and low blows him and gets heat right away. So we get a big heel thing where the crowd now hates him after doing the boom. So it's just like, oh, dude, it kills me, man. That shit just kills me. The low blow I'm down with, the boom I'm down with, but look at what you could be as a baby face. If you got him doing that, then go down that road. Sure. Press the accelerator. If you got him booing you because you just took out the cartoon lovable fucking dude, then go that way. Don't cross those streams and then, I'm going to go out here and do this instead.
He's not getting booed, and I don't believe he's going to get booed. So he might as well just be a super fucking babyface.
I agree.
And fucking kick ass. What I thought was that Orange Cassidy was coming out for a match. That was the appearance it gave me. Cole walks to the desk. Now a match is going to happen. But instead, they don't say anything. Orange comes out. He starts interacting with Cole, does the pockets thing, fucks with Cole. Then the Bucks come out. He fucks with them, doing his shin kicks, then gets super low blowed, super kicked. Then Chucky T and Wheeler Yuta come and run them off. So what was, to the viewer, what was supposed to be happening during that segment? Was Orange supposed to come out and have a match with somebody, but they didn't tell us whom? Did Orange come out specifically to confront Cole? Like, none of it was explained.
So look at what we had. All that went down where Cole comes down, then goes to commentary, and it happens at the top of the ramp. Cole should have come out, gone to the ring to cut the promo right when he's about to talk, hit Orange's music. Orange comes down, fucking da-da-da-da. Well, your friends aren't here to help you now, are they, buddy? Mine are. Out come the Bucks to be behind him. Orange turns around, boom, boom, nut him in the ring and fucking drop him, triple them. Down they come, the baby's powder, and then they fucking can fuck you back up the whatever. So you could have got the boom instead of making him walk to do all that shit. It all could have happened right there, dude. Like, why would they overcomplicate all of that, man? And it would have looked like they were going to have a rematch for Friday.
And that would have at least made sense. Like, promos get interrupted. So he's going to talk. Orange comes out to fuck with them. But instead, we made it look like there was a match that was going to happen, but it didn't, and then we didn't explain why. And after that, it wasn't addressed. Nobody said anything about what just took place.
Nope. Tony Nese backstage in a pre-tape. He claims that Sammy Guevara doesn't deserve to be champion. Wow, that's a bold statement. He says on Rampage he'll change all of that and he will put the title around the premier athlete's waist. I think not. Then we get Wardlow with Sean Spears versus AC Adams. AC Adams slaps Wardlow in the chest in a shitty indie kind of chop way. They could have started the match.
Like a push to me, like a shot.
He did, and it was it wasn't good. There's a lot of things they could have done different. Adams tries to bounce him off the ropes, makes no impact. Wardlow nails a power bomb, follows it up with 4 more. The fans want 1 more, ends up doing 2 more before scoring the ring. Actually, it was 3, 4 total. After the match, Spears adds insult to injury by attacking the debutante several times with a chair. So that should have been the match, right? Like if we have MJF versus Punk last week in this awesome promo battle, it should have been Spears versus Punk this week, dude. Now that's the match. Like that's using Punk in a way versus Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears, whatever you want to say. An ex-WWE guy, both OVW guys tell that story. And I've seen that match dark. That's a hell of a fucking match right there, boys. And it's a lot better than anything the forgettable that you booked out there against Lee Moriarty. No heat, brother, but you should be, Silver King faces fucking Super Callow. He doesn't go and face fucking Kevin Nash for the fucking world title. That's not where you guys are at. And everybody should know that right now, dude. So,
you could have threw in a little layer too, like of Spears saying something like, and I haven't forgotten what you did to hold me down in that other place 10 years ago. I know you were the one that talked to the office. I don't think the boys talked. Boom. Now we got a reason for the fight.
We're missing all these great details, bro. I mean, that's what the match should have been. And that this show would have been completely different in the number 2 spot if you had that match, bro. I'm here to tell you right now. Wardlow up by giving the crowd what he wants. Ray Phoenix is unable to be here this week, so FTR will be facing Pentagon and Pac. He said he's good to fight on Friday night, even though he's wearing an eye patch following the miss last week. So the one-eyed Pac, is coming to Rampage. This is where I got to take the pin out that we talked earlier, because you had a great point of predictable finishes. Give us something where you're like, wow, I thought they could win, and there's a chance, and they did go over. I thought this was the match. Gun Club versus Sting and Darby Allin, dude. I was on here, I'll Horowitz myself on this one. I go, this was what I would book as the finish. Fucking the one Gun Club kid on the outside does the draw. Darby takes him out. After Stinger takes out the other brother, Kid does the draw. Darby goes out of the ring. Ass man non-legal hits the fucking shot on him, and then the Sun comes to life for the pin. Exactly what the falsy was. They should have taken it home on that, bro. That Stinger can take the loss here on the fuck over from the Gun Boys with the other guy on the outside to get around them. This is where baby faces can take a loss when they get out healed on. And it ain't going to hurt Stinger at all to do that. You know what I mean? And what's interesting is Sting face-to-face with Billy Gunn. That's a great sidebar story of legacy and legend stuff where you got your young boys to go sick them until the masters have to meet one-on-one like any great kung fu film. The Abbott sends his soldiers. He doesn't go and fight the battle till he has to. So we really missed. If obviously – the other match is pretty predictable of who's going over, right? Fine. This was the one to put the Gun Club up right here, dude. And it wouldn't have hurt the baby faces not a bit.
And imagine the promo material from Colton Gunn after that.
So good.
I beat Sting. I've been in this company a year. I'm the rookie of the year. I just beat Sting. I've never lost a tag match. I'm the best wrestler in the world. Everybody watching goes, no, you're not. Fuck you. But him saying he is, now he's got some fucking heat, and he beat Sting. So he technically can back it up a little bit.
And they could run that game on somebody else, too, and he could beat another great, out of nowhere. You're right, Sil. That would have been phenomenal. I was just more pumped. I was like, this is the finish I would go with. And there it was. I go, here it comes, because they got me on the falsy, because I was like, oh, fuck. That was it right there. You missed the fucking moment. So It's like we almost know what we're talking about once in a while.
Sometimes I got something from this that I really want to see.
I want to see fucking Darby not paralyze himself on that dive like he did. I thought he broke his neck on that first one, bro. It
would be good if Darby did not get paralyzed. I agree with you. Over the interaction that these group of men have had over the last few weeks, what has been either the coolest or most exciting parts of the interaction between Sting, Darby, and the Gun guys? What would you say if you had to pick like one spot?
You mean in ring of what they're doing?
Everything they've done the last few weeks together on TV.
It's tough for me to even remember, bud, to be honest with you. To me, it's the spots I like is Stinger and fucking Billy Gunn, like when they get shine, when the big part of the meteors collide there, you know what I mean? I also like the Cobra Kai face paint from this week. I thought Stinger's paint looked cool.
It was cool. I like that too. However, last week we had the Gun Club interacting with them, and Darby, Sting comes out first. Darby comes out of nowhere and dives across the entrance ramp and kills Austin Gunn, who's a rapper, and he's actually pretty good, believe it or not. Look him up. And Austin takes this sick ass over tea kettle bump. It looked like he got shot with a fucking machine gun.
Yeah.
Then
and
this week,
your skateboard promo and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Too.
Then this week on TV, Austin pops up for the distraction. A second later, Darby's out like a cannon, blasts him outside, then blasts Billy Gunn. I want to see Austin Gunn and Darby. I want several weeks of Darby just blasted this fucking kid out of nowhere. He's taking huge ass over tea kettle bumps. He does not want to wrestle Darby. Finally, this match 6 weeks later has to happen on a rampage.
You could get over with comedy where he hits guys sitting on the shitter and he fucking blasts.
Yeah, just killing them everywhere.
He's getting out of the car and he fucking blasts them there. Like he becomes paranoid and gun shy by it. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely, there's tons you could play out there.
It looks good. The Gun Kid takes it great. Yeah. The Gun Kid takes it great. Darby jumps like a psychopath. And this guy, Austin, he wasn't really getting over before, and he was trying to kind of be a clone of his dad. Well, he makes music. He's a rapper. Jenna showed me his stuff, and it's good. And now you notice his attire's changing a little. He's got a headband on. He's been wearing hip-hop style sweatpants. Like, he's changing his look a little. This could kind of be the catalyst to setting him away from being a clone of his dad. Like, to me, other than Billy looking great, Austin has been shining in a lot of these scenes, and some of it is just from taking one bump. So there's something there with him and Darby. You
know what they could do? And this is just something on the side. I mean, this could turn into heat if we wanted to and do the rap battle stuff, but I have seen his stuff. He does have skills. Obviously,
good, right?
Obviously Max Caster does too. So does Leo Rush. So does Swerve Scott, who's now a free agent with Hit Row and them. Have you seen those, like the Cypher hip hop videos? I don't know if you ever have seen it. Usually they shoot them in black and white. There's a lot of like underground MC ones like this, but they'll have some with like Mos Def with fucking Eminem and Common and it's just,
I know what you're talking about.
But they'll shoot it in black and white. There's a really good one with Ice Cube and Reverend Run and their kids is one of my favorites. But dude, the AEW Cypher, a hip hop segment, those dudes aren't just like, hey, I'm a rapper who does wrestling. Like, those guys could make it as rappers, bro. Like for real. And what they could do every week, either battling each other or doing something that could sell. Every week they could sell a 99-cent AEW hot track, and everybody steps up with their 16 bars. And dude, we had T-Pain in the crowd last night. Here's the heat. This is what I was thinking of, and I'm giving all this away for free, so clip it and fucking whatever. But I saw that West Side Gun is pissed off because they put over T-Pain last night and they put over Wale. He goes, I'm at every AEW and WWE pay-per-view event in my area. I've spent over 6 figures and nobody ever says shit, but I'll continue to fuel the underground of hip hop. And meanwhile, you got the Buffalo Kids lined with Pepper and Cherry and all that, and we're not bringing in Griselda and West Side Gun, dude. Like, big money left on the table, big underground cultural movements that you would want to move to endear towards your product and be super cool, where WWE is the exact opposite of super cool. I've got a goddamn egg. Somebody stole it.
The fucking egg. Oh God, I died.
Yeah, but West Side Gun, man, like they're missing out so big on that kind of shit, dude. And now you got some real bona fide MCs who can spit it as good as Migos or any of these fucking top acts. That's your conduit to start bringing in.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you got that little cipher, and it doesn't always have to be those 5 guys, but 3 of
Action
them.
Bronson, I'd bring him in.
Bring in Action, bring in fucking Migos, bring it every week. You could have a little hot track that way. Give them $100,000 because you know it's going to sell $250,000 on iTunes for 99 cents. Sure. Dude, this is just the fucking basics that I sit here with. I'm like, so much opportunity, and then your friends can't even get you an email address, Donnie's.
You know, the one miss last night of all that with T-Pain is they didn't have him frog splash. That was the only thing I would have punched up about his appearance.
I think he's, I don't know if that was him or not. I can't remember. I saw on World Star people like T-Pain's broke again. So I'm wondering if he's doing it to take the paydays like they brought him in, because I'm pretty sure it was him. Like his Rolls Royce was getting repoed. Oof. But you live that hip hop lifestyle. I mean, you got to have like, for optics, I guess, or whatever, man. I wouldn't want to be making the payments on no Rolls Royce.
Well, he's on season 2 of the Go Big Show. That's why he was there.
Good. Oh yeah. That's the crossover. Good for him. I might be a different one. I don't want to say that he's broke by any means, but at the same time, I love World Star. But that shit should be connected with World Star. Right. The World Star moment with AEW, you know.
And if you haven't heard yet, guys, check him out. I'm sure you can find his shit on YouTube. I listened to like 4 of his songs last week. Austin Gunn, he can spit pretty good. And to put a bookend on this, everything you were saying about having the battles and shit back and forth with the guys that can rap, you really want to get some heat on all this. You're announcing for weeks the hottest MC's coming. Bam, out comes Enzo Amore. Everybody fucking loses their shit.
Look at what a brilliant point. What a brilliant point, dude. Brilliant. That's the perfect way to build it up for 6-8 weeks, to be like, who's coming? You know, you think like top rapper. people like, oh, you would have a God moment on everybody.
Fucking riot, bro.
Like who's coming, and like you think it could be anybody from Method Man to fucking Drake, right? But it's Enzo more. But dude, you don't want Method Man to show up, bro. He's fucking jacked, bro. 50 years old. There's probably only 2 or 3 people on the AEW roster more jacked than Method Man. Rusev, Brian Cage, and Hobbs are probably the only 3. That's how big Meth is.
So do you move to Tampa, Method?
No, he's in New York, but I'm sure he wants to be one of the Marvel movies. You know what I mean? Like a top guy there. So check out the Cal Fitness. Chris Jericho's backstage. He says he didn't come to Eddie Kingston's aid last week. He was just out there to take out 2.0. However, as the promo continues, they appear and jump Jericho with Daniel Garcia. It ends with a big chair shot on his head, leaves him laying after they threw him into a flight case. And some really, I respect you and love you, Chris Jericho, shitty kicks. Like the kicks were so bad and so light, so tink. But, you know, take care of the old man, brother. Yeah. I get it. So,
you know, my only problem with all this, they never fucking win. They have the goddamn Garcias and 2.0s do this act every time. They've beaten up almost every top guy from Moxley to Punk to now Jericho. They have these matches. They show up all braggadocious. They jump people. Then they lose. Hell yeah.
Bro, you ain't fucking with Method Man, son. The Italian stallion flying Glalion.
You see what I'm saying, though? Like, let 2.0 win sometimes. Everybody knows Jericho's going to beat him. Like,
but you got to get him over on guys like Jurassic Express in a heel way.
Sure.
You got to get him over on, I mean, Bear Country, maybe. Like those guys could tell a good comedy story with those dudes. Or in Helico.
Best friends.
Yeah. Like they need to go over on all those guys in order to be playing at that level to get to an LAX shot. You know what I
Let
mean?
Chuck take the fall, or book Kingston and Jericho together. Fuck finish. Eddie gets pinned. Kingston's already made.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's a ton of ways to get around it. Taz was on commentary for that match earlier, and then Lio Rush appears with Taz with the boys up there, and he says, tells Taz it's his job to know him as a commentator. Rush says he's a fighter, and people know that. He won't be going down without putting up a fight, and Dante Martin appears and celebrates with the group. Taz just kind of laughs in fucking Lio Rush's face, and like Lio Rush is just standing there, man.
There was no fight.
Yeah, I guess at this point, you know, we've signed these guys in the wild card, but there's no program here aside from get your shit in matches, you know, and there should be.
The context of this was Taz announced that 25% of the Diamond Dozen Battle Royal will be members of Team Taz.
Right.
So then he did Scott Steiner math to determine why they have a 125% chance of winning. Out comes Lio Rush to interrupt. And I felt for Leo on this because when he started talking, like the first few lines, you could hear a pin drop in the building.
Yeah, dude. But that was a problem during the Punk match. I'm like, you got CM Punk out there, and the crowd is sitting on their ass, bro. Like,
but
that's
like okay, you could say sitting on their ass, and they might have been quieter than normal in a Punk match, but there was still noise. It was silent.
Yeah, it was silent.
Leo, thankfully, is a good promo and has charisma, because he starts getting a little hard in the promo and was like, everybody knows I'm a fighter, the crowd here. So they started coming with him a bit.
Yeah.
But man, I was feeling for brother when he was just sitting there cold, talking about this wacky angle with the Diamond Battle Royal and Dante and Hook.
Get hooked. Get hooked. Then we see Mark Sterling and Jade Cargill, that bitch, Carol Baskins. They talk about her upcoming match on Rampage with Janae Kai and Thunder Rosa. Appears and says she'll be commentating for Jade's match. I like Thunder Rosa doing the run in here. I thought that was a good little like, whoa, okay. She came in with a lot of energy and like really they reacted as she interrupted the scene. But I was thinking about this. Could you, before she goes to prison, or possibly not, with the popularity of Netflix Tiger King 2, could you get Carol Baskins, who was on Dancing with the Stars, to come out and be in the corner of Jade Cargill and get over the that bitch shirt? And you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. Dude, that's more mainstream fuck you to WWE of tapping into the underground of what's cool, what's hot, and we'll take this chance. And because they've already become too hypocritical on we don't hire sex offenders, but we do hire sex offenders. We don't do this and we don't do that, you know. So
who's lined up on the other side? So if Jade is with Carol Baskin, who's on the other side?
Does Joe? Is it when Joe Exotic? I don't know, but like,
yes, I would definitely.
How about Tiger Mask? If we had Tiger Mask in the other corner.
I think Joe Exotic would be better, but you're in the right direction.
It wasn't Tiger Mask. Was that Jericho?
No, Tiger Mask was there was 4 or 5 Tiger Masks.
Oh, I thought
the most famous one was
Lucha. Pegasus Kid was fucking
Benoit.
Benoit.
Eddie was Black Tiger.
Black Tiger.
Jericho wrestled once as Super Liger, but he couldn't see out of the costume. He wrestled Jushin Liger, and he had a rotten match. And they retired Super Liger after that.
Super Liger King would be good. He could bring that back for one and put that out there. I just
big Cat, maybe.
Yeah. It's gonna be a long, hot summer. Then we get what I thought was match of the night. Chris Statlander back from injury, really hadn't had a lot of reps in the ring. I think 1 or 2 other matches, but here she gets to shine solo. Looks great. You can see she's put in time in the gym, diet strong. Ruby Soho looks great. You know, they're ripping on him because they say that Jeff Lane and her are kind of interchangeable from Russo brand. But this match I thought was really good. I like the timing out of it. There was a lot of stiff strikes in this stuff, a couple things that were a little bit scary on the vertical suplex and stuff like that. But I really liked the monkey flip spot to the walk on the hands. And then she did the round off. I was like, that's good girls wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? Sure, we can get the, what's the guy that Colt takes a lot from Europe, the legend there. Sorry. You would
Johnny
know.
Saint.
Johnny Saint. Like it felt very Johnny Saint to me. You know what I mean? Ricochet could get away with something like that, but traditionally, anything that's a handspring spot like that is usually reserved for mainly for the girl stuff. You know what I mean? And I like that.
Or cruisers.
Or cruisers. Yeah, sure. You ain't gonna see me and Congo Kong doing that shit now.
I'd like to.
I used to be able to walk on my hands when I was a kid pretty far.
You know the fucking handspring I used to do that you hated? I bet you Congo could do that. He's an athletic motherfucker.
You think Congo can do a no hand?
Maybe not the no hand one, but he could definitely do the hands.
Oh, yeah. He's great at climbing the ropes. Ruby hits a sharp kick on Chris, who doesn't get the job done. The high spot in this, where it was the falsie that they really bid on, was the low Rana. She gets on her and swings through, and it's like the DDT version because you're on your knees. It looked fucking great. Probably the best bump and the best give on the entire show. And then she pins her 1-2 falsie. Statlander kicks out. And, shout out to Ruby Riott. She's our OVW sister. But the huge McMahon eyes like it was like Jake the Snake taking out the fucking python and Andre's freaking out. It was too much of a reaction. I want to see frustration and I got to put this bitch away, not the shock that I can't believe she kicked out from the low head scissors. That's just my flavor of ice cream, but I thought it was too much there. And they had them. I would, if she's going over, they should have put her away there because Ruby does go over. And that was the highest spot of the match.
It's a WWE thing, I feel like, with her reaction. What I liked about this match is they did a very good babyface match. Rip showed me how to do these long ago, and there's an art to it. There's not much striking. There's not much chicanery. It's straight wrestling. So I love that early on, Ruby went to tease the right hand and then decided against it. That's an easy piece of storytelling. And I like that the finish was not strong. I like that they were countering each other's moves. Ruby slips over, countering Statlander's Big Bang Theory into a little quesadilla roll-up. 1, 2, 3, Statlander still up, so you could see the frustration. Right. Ruby pulled one off on her, but it wasn't decisive and it wasn't mean. I thought they did very, very good. And Ruby, credit to her for leading this one, of just having a straight-up babyface contest that was fucking damn good. And as you said,
in a tournament,
match of the night.
Yeah, in a tournament. I think we could have got the Ring of Honor handshake there. You know what I mean? I think we missed that. We missed that opportunity at the end, the pat on the back. It doesn't need to be straight up bow to each other, but Statlander could have been there on her knees, dejected of damn, I'm out of the tournament. And Ruby comes over and be like, one of the best matches I've ever had in my life right here tonight with you. Thank you. And powders. They don't need to do a big fucking sis, all that kind of shit. But we missed that moment, and they worked hard and deserved that. They should have called that on the fly there because everything else they did, you could tell wasn't completely walked through. Yeah, it was in the back, but they put it together. But I could tell it wasn't in the middle earlier in the day. You're here, I'm here, da da da. There was just a lot of good slips and give and take and back and forth, which there's no way to do that except be in the moment. Really worked. Congrats. And after that, we get Vicky Guerrero in the face of Statlander at the bottom of the ramp. Meanwhile, inside the ring, Nyla launches Soho from the top to the mat. Then Statlander runs down, but Nyla powders. I'm like, dude, why? You're I won't get into it of why, mainly through the intergender stuff, but if you're the big dominant female and you just took out the girl who beat the girl and now the girl who lost runs in, why would you powder? You got the high ground, beat the shit out of her and leave her laying two. So there's two bodies at your fucking feet and you're up Awesome Kong style. You don't powder and chicken shit right there. So even the big monster doesn't know how to play big monster.
And Statlander just had a match too.
Yeah.
She was tired. If you wanted to find middle ground, you could have had Nyla in the ring looking a little hesitant. Vicky ran down and grabbed Stat's foot. Stat kicks her off real quick. Then Nyla pulls her over the ropes and whoops that ass. If you wanted to keep her a little heelish, there's a way to get it done.
Just a little bit to cut her off and whatnot. But, dude, powder, that was the worst decision. And it just shows me Indie 101 kindergarten level booking with.
You know what we're going to get out of this, right? We're going to get Vicky and Nyla against Ruby and Stat.
No, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Watch. Full gear.
That won't happen. Andrade El Idolo with a super titty tight shirt on. I don't know what was going on there. Just started. He's got to do his own laundry now that he's a single man, and that's it. Versus Cody with Arn in an Atlanta street fight, but the show's in Duluth, so that's interesting. And I was thinking to myself when I heard Atlanta street fight, I don't know how familiar you are with Atlanta, but there's a part there called the Underground Mall where it was the original street of Atlanta back 18 whatever, and they just paved over the top of it. So underneath, like you walk into the mall and the storefronts look like a town, but it could be the Gap or whatever you want it to, you know, who's in there. And underground, they still have the street lamp lights lit as the road's over the top. Dude, they should have rented that, shut it down, and had a fucking sweet Atlanta street fight in there. They could have really done something cool. This was a weird match because it's serious heat and they're beating the shit out of each other, and it's a street fight, and Cody gets hit with garbage cans and every other thing. But then people are like, what is that on his back? And it looks like he's got a bad sunburn and it's like the skin peeling off and shit. And even commentary's putting it over and the match goes on, but this is all anybody's talking about online. Like, what is that? So then as we continue through, Andrade grabs Cody's belt and whips him across the back once and then guns it into the crowd. I go, wow, that's dangerous as fuck, bro. That was a stupid move. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. But then we pass by that moment to get to this. The crowd starts going, throw it back, like it's ECW at the Hammerstein Ballroom with John Cena and RVD. And the fuck you to do it. Does the Mark throw it back? Nope. He's already masturbating over the fact that he's got Cody's fucking thing when we could have had a huge organic moment right there in the match, in the street fight, to go back and forth and fuck you and really get El Idolo over. Some tape trader masturbator's got to fucking have it for his Funko Pop collection wall. You motherfucking Mark, bro. Totally missed the organic moment. I just watched that bus pass on by because I was there for the first one and it was fucking great.
What's the theater rule about children and animals?
Don't work with either of them.
It's the same thing there. You can't throw us out to some stranger and expect them to play along.
Well, no, in Duluth you can't. In Duluth, in the stupid south of wrestling, you can't. In New York, New York, motherfuckers are jumping the rail and spearing your fucking world champions. Fat delusional marks are fucking attacking your talent. That's what's happening in New York. These guys came and throw back a JD Michaels weight belt, bro. Get the fuck out of here, you know? So that was a big miss. And then the match goes on. He gets colors because he's got the bleach blonde hair, so it's going to look good, Dusty style. But I'm saying to myself, if this is Dusty style, why is he not out here in jeans in the iconic blue or purple shirt? You know what I mean? Or the white shirt and the hat to do it, because he's got all this shit all over his back, which is fire retardant. So when we finally get to that spot at the end, we then go, oh, it was fire retardant. Wrestling's phony the whole fucking time. Meanwhile, if he would have had a shirt on for a street fight, he could have had the retardant underneath there, paid homage to the old man, and taken the bump when the shirt catches on fire. It's a bigger spectacle, but we blew all that magic in the first 2 minutes when we finally got to the end by having that shit on, dude. It guts me. Middle of the match, he goes under the ring for weapons, pulls out the fucking sledgehammer to do the Triple H. Everybody pops for a minute, and then he throws it down. I'm as much on the next guy as kicking somebody in the balls, especially if they're in the authority position. But the guy's down with a heart attack. Is that a good look to you for you to get your shit in on him then? Then he goes and grabs a golden shovel as a fuck you to Cena, I guess. And it doesn't do You Can't See Me because he still wants to be in Hollywood. And then throws that down too. And then we go back to the match.
No, he didn't throw it down. This is the spot that popped me the most the whole match. He pulls out the golden shovel, outruns Jose, the assistant to Andrade, shirtless, and Jose's actually in shape. And Cody decks him with the golden shovel between the eyes, according to Shivani. Jose takes the bump and fucks off.
All right. So when match continues with I thought that corniness didn't need to be in there. These guys have had a good feud, and to do waka waka jokes, it just makes wrestling phony when they're working their asses off.
Why is Jose in shape? I want to know more about this man. We know very little about him.
Great shape. Andrade gets heat from Taz twice because he doesn't know in wrestling how to put a table in the ring. He gets the table out, puts it up over the second rope. The back legs come down, get hung up on the second rope. Taz goes, well, brother, I'll tell you what, you want to take that table out and slide it under the bottom, and you want to do it and flip it upside down because those legs will come down. They're going to slow you down, and that means your guy can get back on his feet. And they don't. They play whatever. The table doesn't get into position. Cody takes the hip toss through it. Nice little bump, but it's whatever. Nothing crazy. Then he goes out again, does the exact same thing, and the table gets caught again. Taz buries him again in a little bit stiffer way. I'm laughing my ass off going, how are these guys top guys and they don't know that? You know, have you never watched indie? Have you never seen this done before that you don't know that the table should be underneath there, flipped over already, so you don't have to fuck with it, so you can slide it in, then set it up in the corner with ease so it goes. Like you don't have your props ready the right way, anything like that.
I don't know. I think they're both top guys, and I can't allow Andrade to be besmirched. I don't know why that happened, but maybe he's never fucking put a table in. I don't know. But
if I'm having a street fight, bro, I know where every one of my props are. The chains over there, the fucking spikes right there. I got the fucking Coke baggie ready to do the Fuji in the eyes. I know where everything is, dude. Not like the tables weren't set up the right way for me. No, I went ahead and did my homework, so I knew my match was going to be over. I give no excuse for that type of laziness. And then to see it happen not once but twice, you learn nothing from the first time when it slowed you down. It wasn't in your head to turn the table over. I'm just like, wow.
I know what happened, bro. It's fucking clear as day. His fucking assistant, Jose, runs out shirtless, gets decked with the golden shovel. Jose's the guy that handles all the fucking logistics. You want Andrade's the talent. What the fuck? You think he's at the show beforehand planning props? No, he's fucking chilling, drinking Mai Tais with
the other guy was backstage doing push-ups and sit-ups.
Jose had resistance bands backstage. Someone stooged it off to me.
However, a masked hoodie figure appears out of nowhere and sprays way too much lighter fluid on the table. I go, she covered it twice. I go, there it is. That's enough. Light it up. Nope, let's double that up. Wow. Lights it up. 4-foot flames, suplex through the table. And even though Cody is the one who lands in the fire, he is able to pin Andrade and Fuego for the win. Your winner and hometown hero, the Cody Rhodes.
And it was the last person I expected to show up in that scenario. Maybe it should have been the first. But lo and behold, it turns out Brandy Rhodes jumps the rail with the hood over her face, sets the table on fire, does the big reveal. Oh, shit. Cody hits that reverse suplex off the top, pins Andrade, and then he's looking around asking the referee what happened. So maybe Cody didn't know that Brandy was coming out there. Maybe he didn't see the fire, or maybe he was just so fucked up after it happened that he forgot what happened. So very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All that.
He's got to be heel now, right? Like that's what this said tonight, right?
I don't think so, because that doesn't. What does him healing on Andrade do? Andrade's not over as a baby.
I don't know, but his wife just came out and set a table on fire.
Yeah, that's oh my god markout spot for death
right
match.
After her first, after her maternity leave.
That's a babyface spot, bro.
No, it is not.
Yeah, for them it is. I agree that it's not. For me, it's like I'm trying to kill you and set you on fire. For them, it's oh my god, ECW and fucking deathmatch GCW and like just dumb shit like that, dude. I've seen it at all the indies lately. And, you know, the we want tables and light them up and give them more. Like when they were doing it at the end of days with Dudley Boys and shit, it was babyface that way. And that's how they looked at it this way. But I agree. If I'm breaking out fire, it's to burn your fucking face and not burn my own back. But him being out there in the Captain America pants with that shit on his back and then that spot happened made this entire match kind of worthless and phony, bro.
I think he looks like George Washington when he comes in.
Yeah, he does like George Washington for sure.
Right? But no, bro, this has to be it. This has to be the turn, just based on Brandy's reaction, what happened. Like you can't trot out the next week being good.
Turn on a baby.
It doesn't matter. She came out with the sinister look in her face and set a table on fire.
Maybe she's just
threw a man through it.
Maniac arsonist. Maybe this is a new thing.
Arn's got a gun. I don't know. Fuck it.
He went from whoa, baby, to burn, baby, burn. Yeah.
Now, with that said, I think it could, if they actually run with it as heels, I think it can and will work. We just have to keep Brandy from acting. Just have her be Brandy as she is, instead of when she was trying to act crazy with like the Awesome Kong cutting people's hair gimmick they tried a while back. Sure. Just have her be Brandy, like Cody's loyal ride or die that'll set a bitch on fire for her man and fucking leave it at that.
Throw water in Shaq's face.
Yeah. Gully.
Yeah, dude.
I couldn't believe it though. And I was only imagining, like, I wonder what Hamin's thinking right now. That was the last thing I expected to see.
Yeah, dude. Once I figured out what the shit on his back was. Once the table lit up, I was like, "Oh, we're so phony, bro. We are so phony." But
of all the things you could have predicted to happen in that match, would there have been one indicator that says Brandy's going to run out in a hood and set a table on fire, and Cody's going to bump something?
I figured there might be something after the gimmicks, but like not this new deviant pyro Brandy. What kind of example is this set for Liberty? You know what I mean? What, like mom's out here lighting people on fire and shit. This kid's gonna be hell. But they lit it up. You want to know why? Because they wanted to be the talk of Light the Fuse. That's right. We're setting all the big fires here today. Unfortunately for me, this show, after last week's how well it went, it really hurt this week's show. It really need to look at these booking sheets and go, we can't be exposing our top guys, top talent with our lower no-name guys. We need to build all those guys, and we need to really protect the guys who have value. Putting them out there in matches week after week is taking the shine off them so quickly, making them so unimportant, and especially pulling time with guys who might not even be in the main event of your local indie. That's a problem, and then not doing business week to week or from Wednesday to Friday, from being red hot to ice cold. There's a lot of things that need to be dealt with all around in the company, and we're going to see another round of cuts. I think Big Swole is just one of the first of about 20.
It'll be interesting to see. And I didn't like some of the same booking like we discussed with the commentator spots, multiple matches in a row.
Yeah.
But I disagree with you on the overall show. I thought it was a really good wrestling show, just because it had such a variety and it was exciting. It ended with the table on fire. It started with
that second hour was really better, and it didn't have Punk and Bryan in it. From Stinger and that tag match, I wanted the finish to be different. The match was fun to watch. Girls killed it, and then this could have been a lot better main event wise.
But still, like in the grand scheme of just tuning into a wrestling show, like I thought it was an entertaining fucking wrestling show, top to bottom, from getting Daniel Bryan, a technical wizard, and ending with the table on fire. Was it the best show of all time? No, but it was entertaining. It entertained me as a fan who's seen a shit ton of wrestling. And I think this is what makes AEW the best wrestling show on television, and fucking AEW Dynamite in particular. And second to them, I find the most entertaining show NWA Power. But there's a reason why AEW does that, is because they throw so much difference at you that it's going to be entertaining one way or another.
I just got a message from our own Rad Rob. You guys check him out. Plenty of awesome podcasts. Rob, I wanted to say I sent your bowling podcast to my buddy Clem and my cousins, and they really loved it. Sorry if I half scoffed at the idea. I'm just not in the bowling world, and these interviewing world champions. Awesome insider high-level stuff for the bowling community. Another great micro demographic, and Rad Rob with the Rewind and everything he's doing with Brad Shepard's show, and obviously, at Hamin Media Group, anytime we have him on, I appreciate all he does production-wise, promotion-wise, and producer wise, man, kicking ass. But he sent me this from Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics. Reports AEW drew 861 viewers, 861,000 on November 24th. That's down from 898,000 the week before. Then the show's lowest viewership since May 19th was 821,000. So we're still under 900K after we had gone up to 1 million for one or two quick tricks up our sleeve. But we'll see where this week's show lies. Numbers aren't out there yet, but it was down obviously from the week before, almost 10%. So I hope they kick out and can do more, but I think the formatting of this show needs a big shot of B12.
They'll grab 1 million just from the fire table spot.
You know what I did like? I was gonna say the week before, even though we usually hate contract signings, a choice that was made when they had Team Taz and Dante and Leo, and Taz telling him, and then Leo's like, "You think like it's gonna break down?" And Dante's like, "Nah, fuck it, I'm signing with him." Kind of walked off. I was like, "That, thank you."
And then Hook gave him a chip. That was the best part of it.
He gave him a chip, man. Well, I'll always share my Doritos with you, brother. Even though I know you try not to eat them, but I'll definitely always share a seat next to you in the commentary booth. We had a good time, man. Give my best to the lovely Genocide. Tell her she was right about Wardlow the whole time, and I was wrong. They love to hear that.
She's running around somewhere right now. She's not at home. We're getting ready for our big trip to Atlanta. This weekend is NWA Hard Times 2, baby. Live on pay-per-view on Fight TV. So tune into that shit. It's going to be off the hook.
Yeah.
We got 3 days of television taping and then the huge pay-per-view. See some of the best fucking wrestling on the planet over at NWA. Genocide's going to be kicking ass. I'll be doing my thing backstage, working with the production staff and some of the wrestlers. So
wow.
It's going to be a good show.
Sorry, I don't know if this can be right. They're telling me in the fucking chat room that it was 406,000 viewers for Dynamite. I think I don't want to call you wrong on that. I think that was for Rampage. I can't believe that show posted 0.31 rating, 406,000 viewers in the 18 to 49 demo. The rating 0.31 is the same week as last viewership in the demo, but was down from last week, 408,000 viewers. This demo rating shows the lowest. I think that's
it's got to be Rampage. It's certainly not Dynamite.
Yeah, that's Rampage, I believe, buddy. Not trying to undercut, but thanks, Rob, for sending that over, and thanks, Media M5, for cutting up all the great clips. You can check out a 2-man power trip. El Plaza's cutting up clips for Stevie Ray TV. Kaz is cutting up clips for Hamin Media Group and Russo Brand. Everybody's strutting and cutting and falling off the goddamn ramp onto the pyro. But these two old men will keep grinding it out. It's the bearded and the beautiful, the Chris Silvio. Check him out at Team Death Proof Seidel Dojo, Chris Silvio bookings at gmail.com. And you can always find him here at HMG on Light the Fuse. If you want Christmas canceled, head over to cameo.com/binhamin, and I'll gladly crush all of your family's Christmas dreams and make sure that everybody gets coal this holiday season. Or if you need motivation for new you in 2022, I'll tell your fat ass to put down the fork and get with the Stevie Richards Fitness Ben Hamin boxing program, and we'll all elevate together, man. Anything else, Sil, I can do for you, pal?
That's it, man. You got any $5 face slaps coming up soon?
No, nothing really booked until I guess there's going to be a show in February. We'll see about that one. Booking shows in the Northeast in February. Dangerous fucking proposition, man. So, yeah, I'm just going to be working out and working hard probably to the middle of January, where hopefully we can beat the Omicron and go on a quick vacation to Dominican. And I'll probably come back and get a new DOGG, and we'll be right back in the saddle here, man. Hopefully next week. Chris Silvio.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, Hacker Hamin.
Yep.
And check out all the shows we got at channelattitude.com. I'm uploading NXT right now, Friday Locker Room, Impact Attack, and obviously Light the Fuse. So plenty of great content to get you guys for the weekend. Thanks for joining us. Twitch.tv/Hamin Media, Ben Hamin YouTube channel, infidels. YOLO.